hearing that your goal editorially, it sounds like, is to encourage the author to create the book that's in their heart that they want to create. How often do you come back and suggest things, because not necessarily because that's what the author most wants, but because you know of editors that are looking for this exact book if it only had this quality or that quality? Does that happen?
I would say it happens more on the front end. Like if I hear about something that an editor wants and I think my client might be really great at writing such a project, I'll let them know, hey, I heard that several people are looking for this kind of project and I think you would do a great job at it. But I don't know about changing something per se to cater it to somebody's wish list. I'm not going to say never. However, there are things that I have suggested to my clients, and also in critiques and when meeting people at conferences, that they might want to consider the market when working on their story in terms of certain elements. Probably most specifically, and this comes to diversity, is like if you're writing outside your cultural experience, that you really understand that culture and that you've done your research and that you're doing it well. And also understanding why you're telling that story, why you are telling that story.
That makes sense. That's a good looking out. An author should be happy to have an agent that's looking out for them and helping them button their shirt, comb their hair, send you out into the world looking good. Don't let them out there with their fly down.
I mean, if someone came to me with a story about a girl who's in love with vampires and also in love with a werewolf, and it's a love triangle, I might say that you might want to reconsider that plot.
I've heard there's a market for that sort of story. Or at least there was at one point. Well,
right.
They're
cyclical, and and trends are cyclical. So, sometimes we just came off a long dystopian trend, and, maybe it's time for dystopian again. I don't know. But, if it's big and prominent out in the market right now, it's probably not the right project for the current, for us to sell for 2 years later. However, it might be something you could sell in 10 years. So I try not to discourage.
So if you've got a brilliant novel, maybe you do a round of submissions and say, oh, that didn't work out, but let's hang on to it and wait until that trend starts to come back a little bit.
Yeah, or especially with picture books, there's picture books, there's so many trends, or they might have, for example, they might have a lot of bear stories, for example. And so maybe the publishers just published a bunch of bear stories and they don't want any more bear stories. So with picture books, you just need to be able to have a lot of different stories ready to go and have a thick skin and know that it's just because it's a bear story and they don't need any right now. And so let's work on a skunk story.
Well, that's an easy fix, right? Just search and replace every time you see bear, put in, I don't know, wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Right, or you bring up wolf, maybe there's a lot of Little Red Riding Hood retellings right now, and anytime you do something like that, you just want to make sure that it's extraordinary and that it's different from what exists in the marketplace. But also, I will say that we live in a collective society right now where we are all, and I feel like the internet in some ways is compartmentalizing us, but in other ways it's bringing us together. And so we're all having the same kind of information being thrown at us. And it's been uncanny to me that sometimes I receive submissions that are essentially the same pitch, the same story idea from Tennessee, New York, and Alaska. These people aren't talking to each other. It's just how we're all processing our world. The execution is always different, but it's interesting to me that, different people who are not even talking to each other are coming up with similar ideas. I think it's just, we're living in a time where we are processing our world and different and similar things are triggering ideas for us.